A new image of a UFO just dropped, and I've got the who, what, when, where, why, and how, vetters. Let's jump in. All right, so basically the Canadian government just released a UFO image right here that I'm showing on the screen, right? And this is from, if you remember last year, right, early last year in 2023, there was this Chinese spy balloon incident, right? If you remember it, take a look.
The Associated Press were checking Twitter on several different official. Oh, I believe it just happened there. That was it. Live, raw, and unfiltered. It appears that China spy balloon has now been shot down over the Atlantic Ocean. You are taking a live look here, live, raw, and unfiltered, as that balloon appears to be heading downward after it has been shot down.
So this image was released by the Canadian government via a Freedom of Information Act, and it was reported by the Canadian news television station. Here's a quick clip.
I now show you an exclusive image of that unidentified object shot down over Yukon last year. So here it is. That's the image. This grainy picture comes from an email printout obtained by CTV News. This object was shot down by a U.S. fighter jet last February when concerns over suspected spy balloons from China, everyone was talking about it around the world, made international headlines. So this image was actually cleared to be made public shortly after the object was shot down, but then it was held back. Why? The Department of National Defense thought it may cause more confusion. What is it?
Now, there is an accompanying article that gives more details on exactly what happened. Here's some details. What did NORAD shoot down? A U.S. F-22 fighter jet shot down the object on February 11th, 2023, shortly after it entered Canadian airspace in the Yukon Territory, which borders Alaska. It was one of 3 unidentified aerial objects blasted out of the sky that month following the high-profile February 4th, 2023 downing of an apparent Chinese surveillance balloon. Shot down over Alaska, Yukon, and Lake Huron between February 10th and 12th of 2023. The 3 objects were reportedly much smaller than the towering Chinese balloon. At the time, officials described the Yukon object as a suspected balloon that was cylindrical in shape. A reported Pentagon memo said it appeared to be a small metallic balloon with a tethered payload below it. Released as part of the Freedom of Information request package, an email from a Canadian Brigadier General offered what they described as the best description that we have of the Yukon object. Visual, a cylindrical object, they wrote in a February 11th, 2023 email. Top quarter is metallic, remainder white. 20-foot wire hanging below with a package of some sort suspended from it. The image appears to have been taken from an aircraft below it, although that has not been confirmed. Citing harsh winter conditions and remote mountainous terrain, efforts to recover debris from the Yukon object were called off on February 17th, 2023. Searches were also halted for the objects shot down above Alaska and Lake Huron. While U.S. President Joe Biden has said the 3 objects likely posed no threat and were probably private or research balloons, a lack of details and imagery has created an air of mystery around the incidents when compared with the well-documented Chinese balloon. Now, the Canadian government was a little trepidatious, is that a right word? Is that the right word to use? About releasing this image. And this is why. Should the image be released, it would be via the CAF social media accounts. Given the current public environment and statements related to the object being benign, releasing the image may create more questions, confusion, regardless of the text that will accompany the post. But again, as you can see, if you remember during the press conference last year held at the White House, they said this.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for your patience while we were delayed a little bit. I have a few things to talk about up top, and then we'll get right to your questions. So first of all, to add to information already provided earlier by the White House, at the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command successfully took down a high-altitude airborne object off the northern coast of Alaska at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today within U.S. sovereign airspace over U.S. territorial water. On February 9, North American Aerospace Defense Command detected an object on ground radar and further investigated and identified the object using fighter aircraft. The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. U.S. Northern Command is beginning recovery operations now. U.S. Northern Command's Alaska Command coordinated the operation with assistance from the Alaska Air National Guard, Federal Aviation Administration, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have no further details about the object at this time, including any description of its capabilities, purpose, or origin. The object was about the size of a small car, so not similar in size or shape to the high-altitude surveillance balloon that was taken down off the coast of South Carolina on February 4th.
Now, when you and I both look at that image, we think toilet seat or Millennium Falcon or something, right? It looks so interesting. I don't know what this thing is, right? But it doesn't look like a balloon. It looks so strange, I have to admit. But one thing the government didn't take off the table was this.
Hi, thanks, Pat, and thanks for doing this. This is for General Van Herk. Because you still haven't been able to tell us what these things are that we are shooting out of the sky, that raises the question, have you ruled out aliens or extraterrestrials, and if so, why? Because that is what everyone is asking us right now.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Helene. I'll let the intel community and the counterintelligence community figure that out. I haven't ruled out anything at this point. We continue to assess every threat or potential threat unknown that approaches North America with an attempt to identify it.
So there you go. It could be aliens. It could be, this extraterrestrial vehicle. Or it could quite literally just be some sort of balloon from a foreign nation, right? What's more probable? I don't know. All right, that's up for you to decide, not for me to tell you. But it is an interesting image, right? So I'll put links in the description to everything. You can go check it out. There's a whole 13-page email chain document that has it all the deets, if you want more details on it. And the image itself, all of that. So hopefully a photo will be released, high resolution, as opposed to just this photocopied, image that's being released, right? So we can get more details. That's basically what we're waiting on.
Nel febbraio del 2023 un oggetto volante non identificato, quindi un UFO come ovviamente viene definito, è stato abbattuto nei cieli sopra il territorio canadese dello Yukon. Ecco, questo ha sollevato, come immaginate, una marea di interpretazioni, di interrogativi, no? Quell'incidente, forse appunto vi ricordate anche questo, ha avuto luogo in un periodo in cui c'erano tante osservazioni di anomalie aeree, no? Che in parte erano dovute alla recente distruzione di un presunto pallone spia cinese. È stato abbattuto proprio perché sorvolava il territorio americano e quindi si voleva mettere fine. Tutto il mondo seguiva questo oggetto che volava, appunto poi si è visto che era un pallone spia che veniva dalla Cina. Ecco, dopo un anno e mezzo da quei fatti, però, da quell'avvistamento che invece su cui non si è mai saputo molto, era stato abbattuto un oggetto, sarà stato un altro pallone, non lo si sapeva, ecco. Oggi è stata, in questo periodo, in questi giorni, insomma, è stata rilasciata un'immagine di quell'oggetto, è stata condivisa, resa pubblica, insomma, ed eccolo qua, lo vediamo. È un corpo sferico, apparentemente di metallo, che sembra avere un foro, una parte più scura al centro e un prolungamento su un lato. Ovviamente la qualità della fotografia è pessima e anche per questo, no, la natura di questo oggetto resta ancora completamente avvolta nel mistero. Che cos'è? Di cosa si tratta? Qualche tecnologia segreta, no? Un esperimento scientifico non autorizzato, un altro pallone sonda spia, o forse, come molti preferiscono credere, è una conferma ulteriore delle visite del nostro pianeta da parte di misteriose civiltà extraterrestri? Ecco, di questo oggi parliamo insieme. Se invece volete sostenere il nostro lavoro, i nostri progetti, le nostre serie, strane storie che sta per ripartire, tutto quanto, potete dare un piccolo contributo che può essere l'equivalente di un gelato, di una pizza, quello che volete voi, insomma. Benissimo, torniamo al nostro UFO, il nostro disco volante, il nostro oggetto non identificato che è stato abbattuto sullo Yukon in Canada. Ecco, appena si pronuncia la parola UFO, la nostra attenzione viene immediatamente catturata da una parola che chiaramente ci è molto familiare, UFO. Per quanto sia intrigante ipotizzare che un oggetto come quello abbattuto nello Yukon possa provenire da un altro mondo, è essenziale ricordare sempre che fino ad oggi, fino a questo momento, nessuna delle segnalazioni di UFO è mai stata accompagnata da una prova concreta e verificabile. Non starò qui a ripetere quello che abbiamo già detto su tanti casi di cui abbiamo ampiamente parlato. In conclusione, il mistero dell'oggetto abbattuto sullo Yukon potrebbe restare tale per molto tempo, no? Per ora non ci sono degli elementi concreti da analizzare o su cui discutere. Forse si tratta di uno di quei palloni spia che in quel periodo, come dicevamo, erano stati avvistati e abbattuti in territorio americano. O forse verrà svelato come qualcos'altro del tutto terrestre ma inaspettato. Chi lo sa? Finché non accadrà, noi non dobbiamo pensare che l'assenza di spiegazione scientifica significhi una spiegazione impossibile. Non è un caso inspiegabile, ma di un caso che, per il momento, resta inspiegato. Potremmo obiettare a questo punto, ma se può essere un pallone spia, perché? Ma se può essere un pallone spia, perché non può essere un'astronave extraterrestre? L'abbiamo detto, perché prima di arrivare a una spiegazione di quel tipo servono degli elementi concreti e la spiegazione astronave extraterrestre non è una delle più semplici, è una delle più straordinarie, una delle più formidabili, una che richiede talmente tante supposizioni da essere molto poco probabile, perché prima bisogna eludere tutto il resto, no? Prima va escluso il possibile, tutto ciò che è probabile.